Someone's requesting
Match?
Soris.
Oh, the Sora's matchup chart.
Yeah, so we're choosing violence today, apparently.
What do you mean? Sora's is violent. Come on, bro. Anyway,
Mars, you're up.
let's get the Sora's matchup chart. I pull it up.
It's up.
Anyway, oh, I know. Anyway, so we got the Sora's matchup chat here. Soya squad, come on, let's go and chat. Anyway, I will be a little detailed about this matchup chart because there's not a lot of Sora's resources out there, and I know some people are interested in playing Sora's, and they simply just don't have any idea how to really approach sort of the matchup. So I will be a little detailed. Obviously, Sora's Flex City, so I'm only putting it out there. Sora versus Sora's is even. I personally think that most mirror matches in this game are even, because just based off the toolkits and what characters are actually able to do. I'm just putting it out there.
Side note, T-Bola said that Lil Wayne lost to Lil Wayne 4-6.
Oh, do you want me to explain why I think Lil Wayne loses to Lil Wayne?
You know what? You can go ahead. No, go ahead. He can go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so Lil Wayne literally can't do anything that Lil Wayne wants to do in that matchup. So what's the whole point of people wanting to play the character? They want to use Yiggy. You can't use Yiggy. You can't use HVA because if you do, you lose.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you can't do that. Also, Lil Wayne's normals are long enough to kind of deal with the, I'm gonna 5M into the bro call or cat bot. So you can basically just punish bad calls. So the only thing you can really do in that matchup is to call and poke your opponent, hope you whip punish them, or go into awesome sauce when your opponent is trying to call out stuff. It sucks. It's a bad matchup. It's I think the only matchup, the mirror match I've played in this game where you just can't do anything. I was borderline willing to put that at 7-3.
That's sad.
All right, next. Mars.
Anyway, let's go back to Sora's. We're doing the Sora's. Anyway, I'm waiting for the stream to pop up. I got my chart. Let me actually just grab that up. Anyway, so looking at Cagliostro, right? So the reason I put Cagliostro at 6-4 is because it's almost the same reason of why when Mac was talking about La Diva. So the biggest issue with Cag is Sora's can easily he could kind of play how he wants because Sora's he could rush down, get a life lead and do all that. But as soon as let's say Cag actually gets Sora's off of her, Sora's doesn't really have to do much of anything. Sora's can kind of just sit there and just gain stacks with a 5U dodge, whatever. Honestly, he can hold the life lead because Cagliostro has no good ways to actually approach Sora's. Cagliostro can't jump because he'll get anti-aired. Her ground game isn't very good. Her normals are okay, but they're easily whiff punishable against Sora's superior normals because Sora's has pretty quick normals for neutral and they recover really fast compared to most of the cast. So the 6-4 only in the sense where Sora's is on her. She can't do much. She has no DP. Teleport is kind of irrelevant. Sora's can react to anti-air almost every time. It's a struggle town a little bit. So the reason why it's a little favorable to Sora's, or even closer to even actually, is that Sora's versus Uno. It's almost against a lot of the zoners in the game. Sora's can kind of just sit back a little bit and not have to do much when he has a life lead. But it's not even. But against characters like Uno and Cag, it's not even hard to even get in on them in the beginning. So with Uno's main tools involve just giant buttons and it only has one true fireball, which is easily how should I say? That's easily perceivable because he does a spin right before he does it. Sora's all he has to do is walk and block because Uno eventually he will just walk himself into the corner because he has no good approach tools. He doesn't really have a good neutral against Sora's outside of at the mid range where Sora's can actually start either light dash punching, or just pressing out some buttons to catch his own buttons. Because Sora's has some priority on his own buttons and they have a lot of active frames. Sora's can kind of play that matchup very just walk and block, push to the corner, take your turn. If at any point Uno wants to pressure you, he has to get a mix-up on hit. And on block, Uno always loses his turn, and Sora's can easily just 5U to get him off him if he's trying to maybe go take his turn with a +1 button or whatever he has. Let's go on to Vasaraga. So I believe this matchup is only slightly favored to Sora is because the way Sora is able to pressure Vasaraga due to Vasaraga's slow buttons. Vasaraga's slow buttons actually hinder him when Sora is actually in, and that allows Sora to actually put him in a deeper and better RPS situations. That's mainly the reason. Neutral wise, Sora has to actually play around it because Vasaraga has huge buttons and a fireball. Sora actually has to put some effort, but in general, it's favorable to even. Let's go to Matera. So the reason why I say Matera versus Sora is even, same reason, slow frame data. So if I remember, Matera has a 7 frame far jab. So if I space myself properly, she can't even press a button unless she wants to rely on 2L, which doesn't have any range. So Sora's can put him in constant -1 guessing situations where Matera has to either guess with a spot dodge or jump. Or yeah, just that. She can't match like any other character unless I'm directly in her face. And getting in on Matera can be actually a little difficult. You have to be ready to catch 5U jumps and Zephyrs. We have multiple answers to that. We have 5U. 5U can anti-air Matera's own 5U or any jump she does. You could do 2H to catch whatever else there is. What Sora's is in, it just sucks for Matera. But in actual neutral, Matera has distinct advantage. Then you have to constantly play very reactionary to actually get in on Matera. Lance, I believe this is slightly favorable to Sora's. Lance cannot pressure Sora's in the way that Lance can do to other characters. So Lance, you already know his Rekka pressure, his Rekka strings, where he can make himself plus or even force a mix. Sora's can kind of ignore that, where he can just do 5U in between the Rekka block strings. He doesn't have to respect that. He can do 5U burst. Oh look, I just took my turn back.
Can I interject really quickly?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
You know that comes at a risk to both of us, right?
I'm aware, but like it's more favorable to Sora's because like in a sense where you don't know if I'm gonna hold that, man. You don't know if I'm gonna release or I'm gonna hold that or. Like,
but there are ranges where if I do it, you get counter hit, and now the reward is substantially bigger.
Wait, how so?
So there are ranges. There are ranges where you can 5U my Rekka, right? And assuming that you're reacting, right? If you all right, so there are like 3 things that are like wrong with this idea, because you explained to me earlier that the problem is that I can't use Rekka, right?
Can't use Rekka efficiently, yeah.
But me losing out on Rekka does not innately make the matchup bad.
Well, I'm not done. There's a lot more in this matchup I got to talk about, but I'm talking about that particular aspect of said matchup.
But the thing is, even at certain ranges, if you try to 5U my Rekka, you can get counter hit.
That's a 3-frame startup. What do you mean? There's a 3-frame gap in the Rekka.
It's not always a 3-frame gap. Is the problem.
Well, then I haven't fought Lance that actually knows how to make those gaps tight.
So that's what I want to like point out. Like, it's not always going to be a 3-frame gap. And it also depends on which Rekka I'm using. Like, let's just say I'm going to be like a dickhead and just continuously use light Rekka, right? If I do far 5M into light Rekka, it could be I can make it. Yeah, it's completely dependent on range. So if you fuck up, right, now I got to counter hit light Rekka and you're standing. So that's far 5M again into light Rekkas, into pushing you into quarter. Now you're in the. Now you're. Let's not even assume you're in the corner. Now you're mid screen, right? And now I have an option, because you have to deal with either me approaching you and you're already on your back, or me just saying, fuck this shit, I want you to approach me. Right?
That's true.
Now, you have rush punch. Your rush punch is kinda gorilla. Nice. Right? But rush punch doesn't really matter to Lancelot, because Lancelot could 2U your shit. Like,
yeah, but I could easily bait that out. Like, come on, man. Like, I could bait that out.
I'm reacting.
You can bait out.
You can react.
You can react to it.
No,
it's not a bait, it's a reaction.
Even spaced 2U is punishable by Sora's with his 6
No.
Okay.
I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm going to do it on a whim. I'm saying I'm reacting to you doing it. Like, if I see the rush punch.
Hear me out though. But Sora's has multiple forward moving moves. He has roundhouse fang, the up kick. He has he has his rapid punch where he moves forward. So are you actually reacting to rush punch, or are you reacting to the moving momentum? Because most people who say they're reacting to rush punch, they're actually reacting to moving momentum. And I've done it in bracket.
I think this argument is kind of like two parts. Like, so one, you're saying that no one has done this. If you're facing, like, I think if we're taking any of these matchup charts, if we're doing this as like we're considering this, I think we have to consider that the person knows the Soares matchup. They knows what the move looks like, so they're reacting to that. Because like when I was saying the Zeta v Lowain matchup, I'm not saying that because all Lowains are trash or like all Zetas are trash. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. I'm saying that if Zeta knows Lowain and Lowain knows Zeta, it is significantly harder for Lowain to win than Zeta to win.
No, but I'm talking about in this matchup chart with knowledgeable players. I'm talking about if there's knowledge involved, not just based on who I've played. I try to go about these matchup charts as
but the argument you just said is that you could have done three things, and all three of those things are equally reactable.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
But they don't send me. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. At that point now that you're getting to, you're no longer talking about the matchup. You're now doing a matchup theory on players and interactions, not the tools in the matchup and how they interact with each other. No, that's what a matchup chart is done for. The additional points that you're bringing are more towards a player versus player type of thing, which at the end of the day, not everyone plays like everyone else. You have to just generically look at the tools, compare them to each other in the matchup and how they're being played before when you are having these type of discussions. Don't get me wrong, like everyone's experience differs, but you have to also take into consideration just the general broad discussion of a character versus a character. That's all.
So if we go back to Taika's point if you just go back to Taika's point, all he was saying is just he can react to dash punch with 2U, and then that was just that one blanket statement for that one move. He wasn't saying that he could do it for like all the other 7 moves. He was saying that when he sees dash punch, he will 2U and punish it.
Because I do gotta like this is a little bit of a hot take, me putting Lance there, because it's just Lance. He has his own strengths to Soares, him having a 5 frame but doesn't have a lot of range. But in general, the way they interact, Soares can he could get out of Lancelot's pressure strings a lot easier than other characters, which gives him a small but distinct advantage. Which is why I put him in a slightly favorable.
All right, but my rebuttal is Plus R is the silliest fucking game I've ever played. And you're right. I just played a match, and this game is fucking insane.
Toxic.
This game is crazy.
Wow. But yeah, if you have any other questions about Lance, you could probably just DM me, chat, or whatever. I could probably go into a little more detail about it, because I could be here all day about Lance. Lance is kind of a hot take. Okay, so let's go to Fairy. Probably like the biggest take in the room. Fairy is an even matchup. You've seen across not only from my play and other people's play. Even like lesser known Soares is having able to actually play this matchup, not even like fairly well. Even like JP Soares is back in like I think even season 1. That's where it was kind of almost like 5.5 in Fairy's favor, but now it's straight even because Soares can actually dash. He could force his way in with dash punch. If I block a Fairy button, there's a lot to just go out in here. And what else? Like, there's just this Fairy has slow frame data, so when Soares is actually in, he could take full advantage of that and pressure Fairy compared to the other characters. Let's say you have 6 frames, because Fairy has a far L, which is a 7 frame. So there we go. We got that. And then Soares can just kill Fairy honestly in just 2 touches if he gets the right read. That's all that really is to it. Fairy has to play so meticulous and perfect. It's actually a little ridiculous, just a little bit. Narmaya, that's even because both characters have tools that interact with each other. Very whatchamacallit. It's just for me, a lot of these matchup charts are kind of rely on how well can I play neutral with this character, and if I can punish what they can do against me. And Soares has unique punish options with EX kick. So even before pre-patch, when Narmaya One of Maria's moon slice. What's that? It's like a slash where she dashes forward, right?
Or no, you mean the dash?
Yeah, the dash slice. Before that was actually almost no character in the game can even punish that when space. Swords was the only character in the game that could punish that.
That's not true. Lil Wayne could have punished that, and a couple others. You mean the one where she does like her dash forward and like the 3 slashes? Like you mean the one where she like dashes forward and does like the 3 slashes? The one where she can get the corner combo 3 slash? Is that what the one you're talking about? Or are you talking about the one where she jumps up?
I'm talking about the one where she like light slash or EX slash. Those are hard for most characters.
Yes. Lil Wayne could have punished. Lil Wayne could have punished that.
Percival punish. Well, wait, isn't EX slash like -7 now?
Yeah, it was minus enough for Lil Wayne's Far 5L to punish into 214H.
It was -6, and when spaced, a lot of characters couldn't punish that from what I known, at least.
But now everyone gets a punish because it's -7.
Yeah, everyone gets a punish on that. Like that's not even difficult. But it's even because Normaya can actually zone out swords just a wee bit, but Normaya has to play a peculiar game in a sense where because her slashes have a lot of recovery, so she can't just throw them out willy nilly. So both these characters have to actually just play an honest neutral with each other in a sense, and that kind of applies with the other characters as well. We'll get to UL though. But anyway, let's go to Jita and Grand. So Jita and Grand, it's fairly honest neutral. Jita, whatchamacallit, the only advantage she has against Swords in the neutral is that she could charge her fireballs. But in general, Swords doesn't have to worry about her having such a good range on her buttons because Swords himself has a good counter pokes, really active normals. So and it's just a Shoto matchup. And when Swords is in, he has to guess RPS on wake up whether or not they're gonna DP. And it's almost the same with Grand. The only difference, Grand has boot. And that's kind of the only real difference. Go ahead.
Can I ask a question? So Sores is actually in this game? Like he's actually in the game. That's crazy.
He's been in this game, man.
Even he has, really?
Even in season 1 where he was bottom 1, he had unique tools and just things going for him that no other characters had. It's just that let's look at Charlotta. Charlotta can be debated to just be a better Sores, and that's not even that's a sound argument.
I just want to point out something you just said there. Sores was bottom 1. I'm sorry, Lil Wayne was bottom 1. Has been consistently bottom 1.
Go ahead. No,
he's still bottom 1.
He's never. Wayne is still bottom 1.
Yes, I think Lil Wayne.
No,
he's not. I think
he
probably Cag. Probably Cag is bottom 1 right now.
I can understand the argument to Cagliostro. I'm not going. I can understand that, but I think that I truly do think that a lot of Lil Wayne is coming from matchup inexperience from players, and it's because
I don't think so. I don't think so, dude. Like guys like Searchlight and even UT-Bola, like you're constantly placing in top 8.
Yeah,
like you don't see Cags anywhere.
You want to know why I'm winning? Because you guys don't want to lab this fucking matchup.
No, I don't think that's the case, dude. I really don't think that's the case.
All right. Like, so do you know all of Lil Wayne's tricks? Do you know how to stop them? Because all of Lil Wayne's setups have ways to deal with them.
Yes, I mean the Lil Wayne setup that I mainly see on PS4 from Searchlight from Computer Cast is the unblockable.
Anytime I see Searchlight,
the strongest setup he has.
It's actually one of his weakest setups, in my opinion.
That's the one I see most of the time, or like the air reset into HCAT bot into SBA, and like that's just the 50-50 setup. Those are the two setups that I see mainly in the corner.
Okay. So you're talking about that one. So let's talk about the afterwards. So you managed to block the first hit of HBA, or if I go for the unblockable, I only get 1k of damage from that. I wasted two.
And you can just spot dodge it. I mean, like you just defeat it at like close range.
No. It's only so if we're talking about that 2-2H into HPA again. If you spot dodge, if you just take the unblockable, you're only taking 1k of damage. So if you're basically dying to that, you already lost. So you are only losing. You were already losing that match to begin with. Didn't matter any type of unblockable setup. But okay, so let's say let's talk about maybe you don't die. I lost my EX Catbot. I'm right next to you. I cannot call my one bro out. So I basically have to be right next to you or run backwards, and I have to wait till my Catbot comes back. Now, again, I already said that Ladiva versus Lil Wayne, that matchup, I actually can agree that I think is not really that great for Ladiva. Now, let's talk about, some of the quote unquote hard to blockable. There's multiple outs to the hard to blockable. You could either spot dodge it. You could either kind of like, you could do a rope it up where you do take a hit, but you get one hit off of Lil Wayne. So I basically like the turns sort of get reset on that. And I basically lost my cooldown. And there are other things that like, okay, so maybe I don't do that. Maybe if I go for a grab. Okay, a grab. I dealt like 1K off of just getting you like wasting a bunch of what? Yeah, Oki, and I wasted my one thing to keep Oki. Like you're
still
thinking
get basic Oki like me
what basic what can I do? What can I do?
And you still get a throw mix up as well. Like you just get a basic light punch. You can stagger lights. Like you have options.
Okay, stagger light. What can I do? What can I do with stagger lights? Oh, cool! I did 2L. What else can I do after that?
And then you can auto combo 50-50. It's the same with Ladiva when she doesn't have anything.
What 50-50?
No, it's the same thing with Ladiva. Like when she doesn't have anything to convert off of. No,
Ladiva has other things other than her. She has two moves. She has two moves that can cause knockdown.
Listen to me. It's the same situation. If the Ladiva player is certain that the other player is going to jump, and they don't have anything to convert off, they hit an auto combo. They can cycle their cooldowns by hitting another auto combo, or they can go for a throw mix. It's literally just you strike throw them. Like Lil Wayne can do the same thing. If you hit them with auto combo, you can strike throw them. And you could cycle your cooldown.
But I mean, you can still kind of OS the strike throw. It's not like there's two L's, but I mean, you can you could blow up OSs, but I don't get any reward off of blowing up the OS like you do.
What do you mean?
What's my reward? I keep trying to tell you guys something that I think you guys are misunderstanding. What's my reward for beating up, calling out your shit? Like, what is my reward? Knockdown. Okay, that is cool for most characters. Most characters in this game, when they get a knockdown, they're generally able to convert into very good damage. 3K, we're talking mad stuff. When I see Lil Wayne, what he gets is so much worse. And then, not to mention, a lot of the setups I'm talking about also have OS against them. Like let's go with the most notable is his grab, his grab mixes in the corner where he does the M bro, which is the one that goes up top into stagger grab. Okay, you can actually, there are points of it where you can just fuzzy it. You can fuzzy that. You can spot dodge the hard to blockable, which actually makes me minus. The only thing that I literally can do safely in the corner is to do a safe jump setup with 236 bros, which is the two of them, and to super jump forward. That is the only thing safe that I have.
So wait, you're saying if you throw me in corner and you do M bro, the overhead one, but it's not even an overhead, I know, but you're saying that I can challenge that?
Yes.
With what?
You could challenge those. So again, if you want to block it all, again, you could fuzzy it. If you want to, this is the same thing that Zeta players deal with on Pogo, is that they also have a similar thing with their Pogo fuzzy setups. And Lil Wayne has those same fuzzy setups that you can do. No one ever wants to lab that shit out, though.
Okay, but you can frame trap the opponent for trying to fuzzy, though.
Not really. No, you can't.
Huh?
You can't. It's because there's ways.
Plus after M, bro. What do you mean?
Yeah. So okay. So what? So
bro, we can't frame trap, bro. We're plus. We don't frame trap out here. What the fuck are you talking about?
No. So with the M, bro, the main thing is you could also hit it, but you could also spot dodge afterwards. Again, there are main things. There are main things you can do in that. And Source, you can 5U. So afterwards, you can 5U that.
3 frames. You can't, bro. I can't wake up with that.
Yes, you can.
M, bro, hits meaty. What are you talking about, bro?
No.
Yo, what's going on, buddy? How you doing?
I'm talking about afterwards. I'm talking about afterwards after you fuzzying the if you do a fuzzy match of the M bro. So again, the only thing is 22L, into the M bro, because that's usually what it goes. It's 22L, or you do M bro, 22L, 2L.
Dude, take his face is priceless right now.
Oh, yo,
2L, the Catbot. That's usually the normal stagger pressure from Lil Wayne. And
wow, bro, like we even get to Luane yet. We talking about this character? That's mad funny.
Yeah, and then okay, so let's not even count the corner, because the corner. Let's not even count the corner setups. Let's talk about just in general the mid screen. Like, when I'm trying to go for it's like I'll 5M you into 214L or sorry 236L, which is the low. The bro that hits low. 90% of the characters can deal with that. Like 90%.
And you're right. But
yeah,
it's still a mix.
Is it?
Yeah.
How?
Well,
how is it a mix?
Setup you're doing. Well, okay, what setup you're doing?
No, let's say I do a 5M into 236L.
Oh no, there's no mix then. Never mind.
Yeah, exactly. There's no mix. So it's like, the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, I have to. You guys are basically letting me get away with this stuff rent free. Like, that's what I'm saying.
And that's their fault.
What the whole point I've been trying to fucking make here is that you guys are basically.
He's saying everyone's trash. Luane's trash, and we're even fucking worse. I love it, T-Bola. I love T-Bola.
Yo.
Spitting.
Let's sum this up though. Okay,
yeah.
So
Yeah, please.
in my opinion. So Luane, he's not in bottom 5, but he does have some weaknesses and flaws. But he does have real stuff in the corner. That's what I will say. But like, let's just keep it at that. We can have a whole conversation maybe after stream. But like, damn, we're taking a whole lot of time.
Bro,
no. This is good content. This is good content for me. I'm sorry. Like, I'm just here in the background chilling. I told y'all from jump, I am the mediator. I am not saying anything. I'm just gonna sit and watch. Y'all thought I was joking.
Damn,
I wasn't.
This guy kind of heated.
Like, this will probably be its own.
I was like Grad real quick. Should I continue?
This will probably.
Bro, who wants to argue about the Ladiva matchup? Who wants to do that with me?
Oh, I'll argue with you. But anyway, let's go. I was talking about Gran. So, you know what? I already talked about Jita and Gran. It's a Shoto matchup, whatever, right? Just play it like the Shoto matchup. The only difference is when you knock both characters down, you have to deal with RPS. That's it. UL is almost like a Diet Soares in a sense where UL has strong frame traps. She has good movement speed, good buttons in neutral. Even after the post Far 5M nerf, that's still a good button. People just can't be dumb with it anymore. She has a Far 5H. That's a good button that reduces her hitbox.
Wait, did you say that UL was a budget Soares?
Yeah, that's a Diet Soares.
I don't know if that's a Diet Soares, bro. Like, I don't know. Like, she's a mobility-based character, and she can get out of shit really quickly.
Did you already call Charlotta a Diet Soares? Or no, you didn't say Diet Soares. You said.
I didn't say that.
Oh, so
Charlotta is kind of.
How many characters are like Soares to you?
Wait, is it like a Pepsi Coke comparison? Like, is Soares Charlotta Diet Pepsi, whereas Yule's Diet Coke?
Hey, yo,
we're all Diet Soareses. Yo, everyone's a Diet Soares.
UL's Diet Soares, but let me talk about that. So UL in general, she could pressure in a very similar way Soares can, because she has plus frames. She has she could make herself safe with her thrust forward, and that leaves her -2. Soares' rapid punch leaves a -1/2. But let's talk about the matchup. I'm sorry. Anyway, in this match, essentially it's both characters want to go in on each other, but it's very difficult because we could both whiff punish each other effectively, especially after the post Far 5M nerf. And the only difference with Soares versus UL, again, UL is a DP. But again, that could kill UL all at the same time. But in the same aspect here, both characters have to play around each other's buttons and have to like constantly guess each other. It's basically they're constantly taking turns against each other because of what they got going against each other. It's kind of strange. But UL has an air stall, which is almost irrelevant to Soares because Soares can just 5U that. He doesn't have to time any anti-air with that. And with the new 5U buff, I could combo off that. Like, come on, bro. it's a little.
Dude, is anyone looking at the chat right now? Because it's fucking hilarious.
Yo, this chat is great, man. I love this chat. The Diva is a healthy Soares. Oh, decent over here. But yeah, in general, the characters have to really play around each other, and there's no distinct strength or advantage between those two characters in an actual fight. Probably the only advantage UL has is far 5M, but Soares had an actual answer with his own far 5M because of how active it is, and she just sticking out a hitbox at that point. But anyway, let's go to the actual bad matchup. So like we're slightly unfavorable. So Charlotta, that matchup it's kind of booty for Soares a little bit. Soares cannot throw a dash punch as much as he wants in neutral because Charlotta can either just press a button to beat it, or she could just do her own her ball, and her ball will actually beat dash punch because that's an active hitbox moving forward. While Soares it only returns active when you're actually near the opponent. Charlotta can very effectively shut down Soares and pressure him because Charlotta has very good movement speed, plus frames. What else? Charlotta has a kind of an odd jump in, so Soares has to kind of like play around that. But again, we have 5U, so it's not as bad, but it's still something I gotta play around with if I want a better punish. Soares has no consistent way to actually punish ball, because I've done early testing and labbing where you can punish ball. You can only punish ball at certain distances, but that's with only. That's only what his up kicks. And then honestly, after blocking ball, I'd rather take my turn after that. But in general, Soares has to constantly guess when he's being pressured, and 5U doesn't help him too much because those gaps are she has barely any gaps in between her actual pressure strings. Soares will get counter hitted, as Tega mentioned before back in the Lance mat style, where if you have a tight gap which is under 3 frames, you're gonna counter hit Soares every time. Charlotta can just play neutral way better than what Soares can. That's what I can say. So the only thing Soares has over Charlotta is that he has better range as normals, and that's kind of about it. And if we go to Catalina, it's a Shoto matchup just like Jita and Gran. But the big difference here is Catalina has bigger buttons to keep out Soares. Catalina has a 2M. So I can't roll past things as much as I would like to freely. Catalina's fireball, despite a lot of people saying it's kind of trash, in neutral, it's pretty okay. It's actually pretty okay. It's one of the bigger fireballs in the game, isn't it?
Catalina's fireball?
Catalina's fire, isn't it one of the bigger fireballs in the game?
I mean, I play
like in terms of length.
Oh, you mean wider fireballs?
Length? Yeah, like in terms of length. Isn't that actually kind of one of the bigger fireballs in the game next to Percy?
I would believe so if we're talking like hitbox wise.
Neokarsh, believe it or not, Callisto thinks Catalina's fireball is garbage.
Dude, Callisto doesn't play this fucking game. Are you talking about BG Callisto or E36?
BG Callisto.
Okay,
Callisto
BG Callisto.
Chicago, right. The Sausage King. My man.
I thought you were talking about New Jersey Callisto.
I don't even know who that is.
Don't worry about it.
Anyway, but Catalina, she could play a much better neutral than what Gran and Jita can because of Catalina has better buttons. Her far 5H super active. Will kill if I will kill. She can just throw it out there, and I will collide into that if I try doing dash punch. I can't do dash punch or neutral as much as I would like to, or as much as I'm comfortably able to. Then she has a DP, so trying to get in on Catalina is difficult also because of her anti-air. Her anti-air is is probably top 3 best anti-airs in the game, top 5 easily. We're not even going to talk about that. But anyway, Soares has to constantly play around the fact that Catalina has a DP. Catalina has very fast buttons, and so trying to pressure Catalina is a little more difficult compared to other characters. And playing neutral with this character is difficult because she has 2M, far 5M, far 5H. She has a forward moving momentum move, which is more safe than boot when spaced, and it corner pushes better than boot because it knocks down. Zoe, I have fought a little bit of Zoe's here and there. I fought Diaphone's Zoe. I got kind of my ass beat a little bit, but like I'm trying to move that player matchup here. So Soares has tools against Zoe's kit, but with 5U, where if Zoe throws out any fireball, like let's say the light dragon, he could absorb that, get a free buff. What else? Beam, H dragon, the beam. Soares can 5U that, and upon hitting Zoe, Soares actually becomes an invul, so he ignores completely any other hit that dragon has. Zoe can actually play around neutral really well against Soares because Zoe has very long buttons. They recover quickly. She could convert her buttons into a knockdown to a proper Oki situation compared to other characters. She has fuzzy stuff in the corner, as JDiFends has shown in the past. Zoe, in general, can also space herself with her Rekka, where Soares has to actually guess to punish, despite him having a 6-frame large forward moving button. Soares has, and like Zoe also has air momentum, so when Zoe does a jump, Soares has to kind of guess how to anti-it or actually get anything off of that. So it's slightly in favor of Zoe. I do think that it is slightly Ladiva favored. So Soares can keep out Ladiva effectively because in the mid screen, at least in neutral. Ladiva can jump. Hear me out. Ladiva cannot jump in because I have up kick. I have 2H. And I have also 5U as my anti-air options. You can even if you try neutral jumping and neutral or try to bait my dash punch, I could punish you for doing that.
I mean, the thing is, Ladiva's jump game is RPS because like Ladiva's entire jump game is based around like shifting her jump momentum to bait an anti-air option and then 2Uing you. So like, I don't know, like there are options for her to stop anything that you want to do to anti-air. It's completely RPS. So I don't think like there's a hard like she can't jump in because she can, and it's about conditioning. Like, oh, he's going to 2U and he's going to change the jump momentum. So like now I just got to hold this jump in, and once she gets that jump in, now it's another coin flip whether she does a frame trap or she goes for command grab, or she she tech throws you.
But I could kind of hold your jump by default with 5U anyway, whether you press a button or not, or whether you land. You're not going to punish my 5U. You can't punish 5U effectively after a jump.
You can empty jump command grab, empty jump LSPD.
Okay, but if you empty jump and I see you close to me, I'm just going to let it rip because I'm safe anyway.
Yeah, you're safe, and then you're minus, and then it's another fucking, Yeah, it's I can't punish you, but it's still another like coin flip. Like it's all RPS.
It's not a very good coin flip considering I can
it is. Again. No, it is because I can command grab you. It's MSPD. MSPD catches you at the range. Like after I block the 5U explosion, I'm at range to MSPD. So like it's another coin.
9-frame command grab. Like come on, man. I could literally just I can mash if I wanted to.
You can, but it's an RPS. It's a coin flip because I can press buttons. I'm not saying there's any hard counter or there's not a hard counter. I'm just saying it's rock paper scissors. It's I'm gonna do this, so you do that. I know you're gonna do that, so I do this. It's not like I don't have the ability to jump in and I can't play because it's all mind game. It's all a mind game of what.
And I agree. But I'm saying in general, in the neutral game, in the like neutral, I don't have. Soares does not have much to worry about. Actually, Lariat, if conditioned properly, yeah, obviously I have to worry about that. But in general, Ladiva's options are walk, try to play neutral with Soares, and
which I think
difficult because what's up?
Unlike other Ladivas, like I think me and Jan are like the two best Ladivas at utilizing Ladiva's 5M, because I think people underestimate how good of a neutral button Ladiva's 5M is. Like it's an 8-frame normal that goes very, very far. I think like it's a better button than Soares's FAR 5M, and I think the two main neutral buttons that Soares uses against Ladiva are FAR 5H and 2M.
FAR 5H is actually trash in neutral. I'm gonna say it right now. FAR 5M. So the difference between mine and your FAR 5M is so we're both 8 frames, but yours recovers faster. But the benefit that I have in neutral against Ladiva's FAR 5M is that mine has more active frames. So if I just throw that out and you throw out your own FAR 5M, I'm just gonna straight up beat that because I have more active frames.
But I just don't know if like you just flat out beat her out neutral, because like I really think Ladiva plays neutral really well against Soares because of her FAR 5M. And her ability to whiff punish.
Oh no, I agree. I do agree with that. Like her neutral is not as bad. It's just that I'm talking about in the aspect where like the jumps come in. It's very difficult for her to jump in because Soares various anti-air options. But in the ground game, Soares and Ladiva both have to play footsies and actually guess or to get a knockdown. And that matchup consists of whoever gets a knockdown first. And the only reason why Ladiva has a better matchup against Soares is because Ladiva's RPS on a knockdown is just way better than Soares's. You have a command grab.
Yeah,
I have plus frames and I have forward moving moves.
Yo, Tegan went to get a bottle of water.
Yeah, because this is gonna be a little long. I have forward moving moves. I need to be -1. So you can either that's another RPS situation where you can either take your turn, you can block and attempt to punish. But in general, the only reason that's favorable to Ladiva is because her better RPS options on Oki. Now let's go to Percy. So Percy is it is favorable to Percy, but it's almost 6'4", only because Percy has huge buttons in neutral that he can actually utilize to keep Soares out, plus a fireball. And having a slow fireball against Soares is actually super good because Soares is forced to respect that because he can't just dash punch to get in. He can't because it's a super active fireball that just walks slowly on the ground, and that's just a bait for me to jump in. You can't just jump in on Percival as much as you can. Okay, so SSK in the commenting. So you can use fireball against Soares, but you have to be very peculiar on it. You have to be at a range. Let's say like we're both full screen, right? Because like maybe you DP'd me or you just send me far away, knock me off, right? And you got stocks. In neutral, when I'm full screen, you can throw fireballs freely, and I can't do jack shit about it. Unless I do a very hard read with M dash punch, you're not gonna get punished for anything. You're gonna be perfectly fine. Nothing is gonna happen to you. But Percy, just with his fireball, he can control the neutral game better. You just have to utilize yourself in a sense where you have to play neutral and not rely on the fact that you have a fireball. Because you're throwing out big hitboxes, which I can land a knockdown from if I just get a straight button, and then all of a sudden I'm in pressuring you.
I was actually about to choose violence because I thought Mars was telling. I mean, I thought SSK was telling me I told him never to throw fireball.
Ooh, you about to choose violence in that? Eh? No, but like fireball, Percy's fireball in that matchup helps him a lot, and then the fact
Percy's fireball is violence towards Ladiva and Soares.
Yeah, Tega, can I say something real quick? I heard that you drink tap water.
Oh, that's a little fucking nasty, yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking gross, Tega. New York tap water? Dude, I wouldn't take the risk.
Motherfucker, do you want me to bring my Brita filter into the fucking stream?
Yeah, I don't mind. Go ahead, dude. Anyway, but in the matchup, yeah, Percy, he benefits heavily from his fireball in the neutral. And I'm talking about neutral a lot in these matchups because that's what Soares is. Soares is very similar to Ladiva in a sense where he just needs a knockdown to get in. That's all he needs. And Soares has to play an honest neutral because he doesn't have any tools to actually get anywhere outside of certain matchups where he can make a hard guess with M dash punch. And if I land M dash punch, I earn that.
There's also the Soares players that just like do auto combo into M, like what is it, 1000? I don't know what the name of the move is, 214M, and then just mash buttons afterwards. I don't get that. Why do you Soares players fucking do that?
What do you mean by 2M4M? What do you mean the ground pound?
No, 214M. It's the 1000 punches thing that he does.
Yeah. Oh wait, what version?
M. Like they just fucking you Soares players just do it and then mash buttons. I don't know why.
Okay, so
I don't know why you Soares players do it.
I don't do that because that's -1, and most people are going to be mashing take the turn afterwards. If I'm pressing a button,
exactly.
I'm doing EX kick, bro.
Bro, I swear to God, most Soares players on fucking PS4, they just do it, and they'll keep getting counter hit, and they'll just keep going for it.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. The PS4 Soares players, most of them are bad, so what do you want?
Don't talk to Decent like that.
Well, Decent is actually pretty okay though. He's okay. He's getting there. And
do you guys know the Soares player Nutsack?
I've never
on PS4. He's the triple S player.
That name though.
Oh, dude, he's like the jump L fucking Soares. He'll just instant jump L for some reason.
Good. What the?
He'll just instant jump L. I don't know why he does it.
That's some bad shit. But let's go back to Percy. We're kind of off topic. Anyway, let's wrap up Percy. So Percy.
Yeah, dude, I remember Yusol. Sorry, I'm talking to SSK. Yeah, dude, I remember Yusol.
Yeah, but Percy also has a little bit of advantage over Soares because one, he has very he has ranged light, so he can actually keep his turn a little bit compared to other characters against Soares. And being plus against Soares, being able to have range and still remain plus, is very strong against Sora's because Sora's his range buttons are a little slow, except obviously his 7-frame 2M, but that doesn't hit low and it's not super active, so we got that going. But Sora has to play RPS against Percival when Percival lands a knockdown because he has a command grab and everything of the sort there. He has a plus on block fireball. It's a Shoto matchup, but what makes him differ between the other Shoto matchups is just because he has a range and a really nice slow fireball where I can't just dash punch freely as much as I would like.
Outcasted. RPS just stands for rock paper scissors.
Yeah, just to like put that out there. Yeah. And so let's get the Beelzebub. Beelzebub, Sora's kind of struggles because Beelzebub can play a very, at least well, like I've been playing fucking Rico Suave a lot, and he's been playing Beelzebub, and he's one of the better Beelzebubs I play next to T-Bola. And based on those matchups, like high level Bubs players, Bubs can do it as he pleases in the neutral, because I can't just dash punch unless I'm making a hard read out of fireball. Bubs can kind of he has the access to dive kick, so I can't really check his jumps as much as I would like. He has active large buttons. He has whatchamacallit. He has a DP. He could probably keep out Sora's for most of the game if played correctly. And Sora's has a hard time doing that. And Bubs could constantly reset himself in certain block strings. Let's say from like 2M into like a fireball or like a hold fireball to retain plus frames. So I have to be aware of that and actually like attempt to punish and react to that. But sometimes, obviously, I'm looking for other things, and I can even frame trap all that. And looking at all that, Bub also has a SSB command grab, so I can't respect him even with my save jumps. I can't respect him and just automatically take my turn. So it's actually hard for Sora's to keep in. The only benefit Sora's has against in that matchup is the fact that I could absorb a 2M into a let's say a wing, right? If I could absorb a 2M into a wing or any button into wing, and I can get a hard punish with a heavy button, and that's 40% if I do super.
Yeah, it's RPS, but like the
only because of 5U.
Yeah, it's RPS, but like the overall rewards you have versus like if I'm aware of the matchup, like aware that you can do that, I would just not do that. And
yeah, you're just not gonna do it.
I'll just do the RPS in some other way. So it helps, but it doesn't like help the matchup as much as you think it would.
And another thing, when a Beelzebub has Sora's in corner, Sora's does not have many options at all to even escape or even like challenge Bubs. He has to. I have to either press a button and catch one of your buttons if you're throwing buttons in neutral. Not neutral, but in corner neutral, let's say. I have to kind of guess the way to get out. I can't jump. I can't dash punch because it has startup and I had my travel time. I have to like kind of hard guess to get out. And since you have a super good anti-air, I can't just jump. You have a fireball to make yourself safe or even plus at a range because Sora's, if you space yourself properly, Sora's has no options to like actually challenge that. It can be real rough. It all depends on how you play it, but in the general sense, Bubs has a distinct advantage in that matchup.
And that's something we agree on.
Yeah, and let's get to Zeta. So Zeta versus Sora's is kind of trash. It's fucking terrible. So Zeta doesn't have to approach Sora's at all until Zeta gets a knockdown. Zeta has a full screen fireball. And Sora's dash punch is not really fast enough to actually challenge that, even after blocking it. Sora's has to work around EX parry on wake up, even if I get a knockdown. Zeta has pretty quick frame data considering her character. She has safe ways to like apply pressure, like 2-web into a spear. Sora's can't do much to punish that. Let's do a hard read with a dash punch to punish her back spear, but that's a hard read, and on net play, good luck actually landing that. I'm being honest. And then when Diva gets, sorry, when Zeta to knock down against Soares. Soares has no reversal options. Soares 5U is pretty irrelevant in there because of her frame tight safe jumps. Zeta can pressure Soares from afar with 5M and 2M and far 5H and still be safe, and Soares can't do much of anything about it. And Zeta can even do parry and neutral to try to catch me doing a dash punch and get a full conversion off of it. There's just so many things that Soares just can't do. Even with Soares' super, there's almost no reason to do that super in the match as a defensive option because one, it's slow. Zeta just save jumps most of that anyway, so it's constant. Soares constantly has to RPS on wake up guess. He has to hard guess just to get out, almost like he's fighting a grappler. But the only difference is this grappler has a fucking full screen fireball that Soares cannot contest, and so that's what makes that matchup just actually awful. And I know you were talking earlier, Mac. If I remember your chart, didn't you say that the Diva versus Zeta is terrible?
I don't think it's terrible. I think it's like 5.5 in Zeta's favor.
Why do you think that again?
Mainly because she doesn't have a reversal, and there are like options to deal with her pogo mix.
Yeah, and you have
like specifically when you
EX parry.
Yeah, I mean specifically like when you have SPA and SSPA, like you can kind of like make a Zeta terrified of going for a pogo mix. So I kind of like that helps with the matchup. But besides that, I mean she beats the Diva flat out in neutral and full screen. But I don't think it's as bad as like some of her other matchups. That's just why.
Yeah, Soares is for these bad matchups that I'm approaching in. For me, Soares has to actually just punish these characters' options or punish what the player is doing to actually like successfully win. Soares can't do much of anything with Zeta, and Soares playing neutral with Zeta is so risky because any hit that Zeta gets is an Oki knockdown situation. So Soares cannot do anything about that. He doesn't have a DP, he has nothing to actually do anything with that. And so that's Zeta. Why it's a 6-4 matchup, if not even a little worse than that. But definitely not 7-3 if chat is thinking about that. So Belial is a very rough matchup because Belial has a very good fireball. Soares cannot dash punch in on a round start because the fireball is quick enough. Soares cannot pressure as properly as he wants to because the fact that Belial has a very far 2L, which is a 5-frame button. So most of Soares' mixes become actually invalidated. When Soares is -1, it doesn't fucking matter. Belial can actually 2L with his 5-frame 2L every time, and that'll be every single option that I have. Soares can never take his turn after that. It actually fucking sucks. Soares is when he's 0 on block, Soares can't really do much of anything else with that either, because after blocking 2M, after blocking his M dash punch, Belial again can just mash 5-frame 2L. Soares has no options against those situations where his character, where normally leaving him 0 or even -1 benefits him. It doesn't help against characters like Belial. And even though Lance has a 5-frame far 5-frame jab, it doesn't help him as much as against Soares because Lance doesn't have range compared to what Belial has. Also, Belial has a DP, so I'll also have to worry about that. Belial has a command grab while pressuring Soares. Soares has no reversal. Belial has a +1 2M, which is also 7 frames, if I remember correctly. That's almost the same issue with Gran, but at least what gets Gran, Soares can do EX kick to if he tries doing 2M because it's faster as being a 6-frame button. Belial, he could keep that he keep that frame trap 100% real, and Soares can't do anything because if Belial just does 2M into a 5-frame 2L, Soares cannot challenge that. He has to eat that mix. He has to eat that pressure. And so, Soares has to rely on just, again, making mistakes of what the Belial player does. The only option Soares actually has against Belial would be 5U at certain situations, but even then, Belial has options against that too. Soares, shockingly, he does okay against Belial's air stall dive kick. So because Soares can actually wait, do 5U, wait for it to connect, wait till he drops down a little bit, then release 5U. And with this new patch, with this new buff to 5U, Soares can actually combo off of that. So that's why the only thing he has going for him. Soares has to play mega defensively, while also having to somehow pressure a character that has a 5-frame button when Soares constantly loses his turn. When normally against any other character, it'll be a mix or RPS. We're getting to Luane. So Luane, last character on my list here. The only reason Luane is in 6-4 is because Luane, as T-Bola said, Luane has a really fast backdash, fast movement on his backdash in general. Luane can properly zone out Soares. Luane can catch Soares' dash punch very easily with 2M, 5M, far 5M, 2M. He could parry. Parry's a little risky though, but as you said in chat. But and then we kind of had that discussion a little bit with Luane with UT Bola, where like his setups, to me it feels like Soares doesn't have a lot of options, but that's just me probably not knowing the matchup. But definitely in neutral, Soares struggles and he doesn't have as many options as he would like when approaching. Because honestly, Soares' main neutral tool is either dash punch. If he does have access to dash punch, he has to rely on his fairly good counter poking buttons. But against a character like Luane doesn't really have to play neutral in terms of footsies with Soares. Luane can just kind of just throw stuff out, back up, and that's kind of about it. And then when Luane slowly pushes himself to a corner, that's probably the only opportunity that Soares could actually like get Luane out of there. But Luane, even on block, pushes himself out of corner with awesome sauce. So there's a lot of ways that Luane can just take his turn and like retain pressure after Soares finishes his block strings. And Soares doesn't have much to actually do about that, based on what I've experienced at least. And what are your thoughts on that, T-Bola, if you don't mind me asking?
I think some of what you're saying is true. I think, like, yes, Luane has the ability to zone. His backdash is good, especially in the matchup. He could definitely do things that would antagonize Soares. However, the difference is, I think, though, kind of similar to, like, Vasaraga. It's like, yeah, I have to play that matchup very cleanly. Whereas once you get, like, you just need, like, 1 to 2 good hits, and I'm just dead. Because Soares can basically, if you get install, I basically
you're RPSing.
Yeah, I'm very much RPSing, and then you have option now to your command grab super, and so some of the stuff that I do, it's not invincible, but on your block strings that you keep plus, I have to RPS very heavily, and then my only real defensive tool is parry, which can be fuzzied. And can be spot dodge, and a bunch of other things.
You can even super punished.
Yeah, you can get super punished, exactly. So it's a very dangerous tool. So there's that with it. I think that overall, Luane does well in the matchup. I think probably more favorably, but I don't think it's 6-4. I think it's closer to 5-5, 4-5. I think you have a lot of stronger tools, especially with like up kick. Up kick is actually a very surprisingly good move in the matchup, more so than like
because of how active it is.
It's active and it catches the bros quickly. It's fast and it catches the bros in a lot of different circumstances. So you're able to punish me for doing bad things. So that's my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, and to wrap up Luane a little bit, because we have T-Bola here. I feel personally that matchup, it's Soares. Soares has to play very kind of aggressively, but it's really hard at the same time because Luane has tools to prevent that. As long as if Soares can get a knockdown round start, Soares can actually just play his game because Luane does not have meter to do anything. To be honest with, that's kind of all the wrap up with my tier chart. And if I believe it, let's take it to what are the Materas?